Good afternoon, in the name of Allah, the most merciful and the most compassionate, and Allah's mercy, peace, and prayer on His most honorable Prophet Muhammad and his descendants, peace be upon them all. Last session was a revising session through which we revised lesson 1, and I promised you at the end of this session for this day to give you the link for the Google Drive on which you can find the PDF book, the beginning of the path. Inshallah, our lesson today will be very nice. It's about knowing Allah, and also it's built on 3 topic ideas. The first one, what are the ways to know Allah? And the second one, which we will cover today, how do we find the right way to Allah by mind and logic? The third one will be, inshallah, postponed to another session. The introduction here will summarize what we have talked about in lesson 1. The introduction says, after we have found out in the previous lesson that the purpose of man's existence is to know Allah Almighty and become attached to Him, the following questions must be answered. Before reading the questions to be answered, we will also stop to explain a little bit this very, very important idea. Man's existence is to know Allah Almighty. Remember that we said that the goal, the aim of this life, not to be like animals, eating, sleeping, drinking. No. And the real life is not this life which is full of events, incidents that make us sad, that make us lose, that make us suffer. However, there is a higher and infinite life. There is a very, very important life full of happiness. We can reach this life. We can live and survive this life if we made our life here and existence on earth in the way of knowing Allah Almighty, inshallah. The first question is, how is the way to know Allah? First of all, do we know Allah? Do we know the way to know Allah Almighty? This is an important question. Yes, it's related to the souls, not to the senses. It's related to the hearts and souls and brains, not to the 5 senses, not to the body's organs that is responsible for material operations. Human souls can identify things surrounding them and can distinguish among things. Yes. However, the body senses identify the material items everyone is responsible for the corresponding item, such as visuals are identified by sight, audio and acoustic items by ear, and so on. Every organ of our body can identify the appropriate material item. We consequently, as humans, cannot identify an outstanding scene of nature by hearing. It needs our eyes, and so on. You can conclude this result that every known recognized thing has an identifying sense. But what distinguishes among these senses? What if these senses mistook? What if there is wrong operations done by the senses? Who is responsible? Which part of a human existence, which part of human reality is responsible to manage the operations of our senses? It's the intellect which is given to us by Allah Almighty. Due to mind, we were preferred to all animals. Yes. As you know, the mental operations are approximately 4 operations, and the first 3 are common between all the first 3 are common between all the human and other creatures. For example, the first step in thinking is the one and the level which is related to the senses and the information that the senses collect. And as we said, that each sense is responsible for distinguishing a kind which is appropriate with it: eyes for observing, ears for hearing, tongue and mouth for tasting, nose for smelling, hands for touching, and so on. This level is common between man and animal. Also, the second one, which is about the imagination, about the imaginary ability, about the sceneries found in the part of brain that divide pictures and combine pictures and make some new pictures from old known ones. The third, and it's also common between man and animal, is the level of planning, is the level of trying to achieve the need and to get the work done, which is for man called planning, and you can see how animals catch their victims and chase. For example, how the cat chase the bird and catch it. This is also common, but here animals stop and man continue. We, for instance, do not put our hand in fire, do not drink poison. We also plan for future. We also draw a plan and a map to our future. We have a mind that prevents us from performing such actions that lead to our bereavement. Thus, a man's mind is the power by which he perceives, checks, and identifies things. If senses themselves are incapable of finding the way to Allah Almighty, would mind be able to find Allah? Yes, mind would be able, and mind is the responsible for that, because senses have a little field to cover. They are only able to achieve duties related to material items and experiments, for example, and results from studying bodies. Only this is the little field, the little space available for senses. However, mind, and as we will see inshallah later, hearts, souls are responsible for the bigger and wider and huger fields and spaces of knowledge. How mind leads to Allah Almighty? Allah Almighty says, is there a doubt about Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth? And this is an ayah in Al-Quran, in the Holy Quran. Its explanation: if you saw an eye catching well-structured house, would you doubt that such a construction was not made by a creative designer, a very clever civil engineer? Sure, we will not doubt. Sure, we will say that this is made by a creative designer. This is a resultant. This is an overall effort of a clever engineer. Also, when you see, for example, smoke, or when you smell something burning, you will directly say that a fire is giving off that smoke and smell. And this is also a very common action and reaction among all human beings. This is what every one of us, wherever he was and whenever he was or is on the earth, everyone directly can relate the effect to its cause. This is what called the cause. This is what called the cause-effect relationship. The cause-effect relationship is very important, discipline that everyone obeys involuntary. When you are walking on the beach and you see foot traces on the sand, you also say that someone has passed. Let us now have a look around us. All what around us is an evidence for Allah. In everything there is evidence which is directing us to know our Creator. Not only knowing that there is a Creator, Creator and not Creature, not only directing us to know our Almighty God, Almighty Allah, but also to know its high characteristics, its His high characteristics, His positive characteristics. This, for example, this sky, this ornamented sky. Look at it, look at the moon, look at the stars. Some stars are very, very far. Look how large is this space, how large is this world, how wide it is. Look, and in everything you will find it telling you about Allah, telling you that everything is a creature that is related to the wise Creator, to the very precise Creator, which is Almighty Allah. This ornamented sky, these and those planets and stars swimming in the space for billions of years in their accurately predetermined orbits. These planets would collide and collapse if their velocity and orbit it changed a little bit. Now let us ask, who calculated these distances? Who calculated the orbits, velocities, and every characteristic, every physical calculation of these planets? Do you suspect that there is an extraordinary designing power that is so wise and precise that had calculated, organized, and made these things? Look at the life cycle concerning the environment. Look at rain, its relationship with the earth, reviving it. Look at the rain's role in the blooming process of the plants. Look at the environmental processes which are all related to each other. Yes, everything is a proof, is an evidence for Almighty Allah, who had connected these things together: man, cloths and seeds, using machines and animals, manures the land, then rain comes and waters these seeds. After that, seeds flower and become plants. Then wind and insects move pollen from one plant to another. And this is a very important idea which our scientists has discovered it from only 200 or more, a little bit more years, for example from 400 years. But the Holy Quran has talked about this idea in the beginning of a Surah Mubarakah. The Holy Quran talked about it from 1400 years, where no one on the earth has an idea about how plants transport pollen to each other, how this operation is done by the wind, by the insects like bees. This is discovered by scientists in not far period of time, from approximately 400 years. However, this is like many facts that the Holy Quran has talked about before anyone could discover it. Inshallah, on coming lessons we will talk about some facts that no one has been talking about before the Holy Quran. Who created such relationships among the peasant, earth, rain, flowers, plants, and insects? This is what the holy ayah was saying. Is there a doubt about Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth? Intelligence rules that there is a great, mighty, and wise creator. Look at these characteristics. Great, because his effects are very, very great. The world is very great. The creatures and the things are very great. Mighty and wise. These characteristics we can conclude it, we can find it in the creatures. The effects reflects the characteristics of the basic cause, of the main cause of this world, which is Almighty Allah, who had instinctively created our brains to believe in undisputable knowledge by which we find the way to believe in Allah. We didn't use our eyes to believe in Allah because our eyes cannot see Almighty Allah. If our eyes can see it, it will not be a creator, it will not be the God, it will be a material. And those who put their brains in place of their eyes, who replace their brains by their eyes, will not get the correct result. We didn't use our eyes to believe in Allah, but use our brains. As we go through verses of the signs that witness with all existence, here is only parenthesis and not letter E and not letter I. Signs that witness, signs means ayah, the part of the surah, with all its existence that Allah had created them. Also here is a opening the parenthesis. Soon we will show them our signs in the furthest regions of the earth. This is an ayah from the Holy Quran. Allah Almighty promises that He will show us His signs in the furthest regions of the earth. It has additional words, this ayah, signs in the furthest regions and in themselves. Also, if we observe, contemplate, look and think in ourselves, there is a lot of signs that these signs leads to the knowledge of Allah Almighty, the Great, the Wise, the Precise, and every positive characteristic is related to Him, and every negative one is not and is avoided from Him. Inshallah, now I will show you the as I promised, the link of the Google Drive, so you can able to get this PDF. You can go, here is the beginning of path, and I will now make the link visible. Let me see if this is, no. Let's copy the link, copy link, and let's write it on a note or an email. If we write here, you can observe this is, sorry, this is the link, and I will put it in the comment of this video, inshallah. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.